Hey everybody, welcome to Lost Light and Laughter, an uplifting show about laughter after tragedy. I'm your host, Michelle A. If you're ready for some inspiration and laughter in your life, you've tuned in to the right show.
It's time to show love, everybody, show love one time. Feel me strong enough to fight my battles. I know he'll never give me more than I can handle.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lost Light and Laughter. I'm your host, Michelle A., and I have another special guest with me today. I have Kaitlyn with me. Kaitlyn, thank you for being here. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. I'm Kaitlyn. I'm 22 years old. I am currently a substitute teacher, and I also have my own cleaning business, and I'm a full-time student. And it's just an amazing opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Well, Kaitlyn, as you know, the name of this show is called Lost, Light, and Laughter. Tell our audience about a significant loss that you experienced.
So I really lost myself due to the fact I didn't know about my biological father until about 4th grade.
Really?
My little sister's dad, my mom's ex-husband, but current husband at that time, I thought he was my dad.
Right.
And I kind of figured out before I found out about my biological dad, because we didn't have the same last names as my little sister and him, and we didn't really look alike, and people just kept saying stuff. And then once they divorced, my biological dad wanted to be a part of my life.
Oh.
And, And so it didn't really last very long. He came in, went to prison for selling drugs, and then came back out. And then he kind of tried to pin myself against my mom. And then he left again. It was a big circumstance, and he left. And through that time, I just didn't know what was going on. I felt like this isn't the first time he left. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, no man wants to be my dad. And so I just felt really lost. I didn't like my mom going out. I didn't like any guy friends she was with or anything like that. Like, I would freak out. And then seeing my mom suffer in that, it really made me feel lost and have like these abandonment issues. And I didn't like that until one year she found a guy that I like begged for him to be my dad.
Really?
Yes.
Aww.
So through all that, I just felt really lost and didn't know what to do. I cried all the time. I went out of my way to make sure my mom wasn't doing anything, because I just felt alone. My 2 sisters had their dads, and then I'd always go to my grandparents' house or go with my little sister to her dad's, and it was I just felt really alone in that aspect. But I knew my mom was right the whole time, that he was trying to pin me against her, and had all these different images and things that I was thinking about my mom. And out of all of it, my mom was the strongest person I knew.
Right.
Because she had to endure all of it and was hurt, and so that made me hurt. And I'm still going through some of that and finding it through God.
Yeah.
So it was a big loss, going through not one dad but 2.
Right.
And then the stepdad treated me like I was just a stepchild and was just like, whatever.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it's all good now, but it had a big toll on my life for a really, really long time.
Yeah. So when you found out in the 4th grade, like, how did you actually put it together that he actually wasn't your dad?
So I was probably a little younger. I was like, I'd fight. I wouldn't fight, but like argue with everybody. It was like, no, my last name is this. No, my last name is this. Even though on the Scantrons, my last name was different.
Right.
And so then I just kept looking at my little sister and him, and because I already knew my older sister went and saw her dad, so I already knew they weren't.
Right.
And so just like, I don't look like him. I don't look like her. I mean, we look like each other, but in my mom's way with her genes, but I just I don't have the curly hair. I don't have their features. And it's just like a feeling. I don't know how you can explain the feeling. It's just like, I know that's not my dad.
Yeah.
But you don't want to come across that as you're like 7.
Right. You don't want to be where it would appear to be disrespectful.
Yes.
But you know that something's different.
Yes.
And did your mom ever talk to you about it?
So they both sat me down and they said, hey, I'm not your biological dad, basically. We're going to meet you can if you want to, but he wants to meet you at this birthday party. And I was just like, I don't know. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when we got there, I was like, please don't be him. Like, I was just like, don't. And he had a whole other family and stepkids, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It was so overwhelming. I just stuck to my mom and I just didn't know how to feel. I just felt so lost.
Yeah.
So
I could imagine. And I definitely understand that, because you're searching at that age and you want to have that mother and father, because you want to have that, what we would consider that happy family, that family dynamic. And you want to know who your dad is. You know, you have that kind of excitement, and, you know, your imagination takes off at that age, and you're thinking about all the things. And we think about all the cool things our dad could be.
Yes.
And then when you run into him and you're just like, yikes. You know, that's kind of hard.
It was a hard pill to swallow. Which really helped me go through it was his stepkids at the time. And then I'm the youngest on his side, but I'd never met my older sister until about 3 years ago.
Wow.
But his stepkids were either 2 years and a year older than I was, and then one was like 2 years younger than me. But the girls who were closer to my age made me really feel like I was wanted. But he was really never there when I was at the house. So it was just, I still felt alone through it all.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, why wasn't I good enough? Why am I not good enough for this?
I get it.
And it was an experience.
It is. And I 100% understand everything that you're saying. I was reunited with my dad at a later age, so I get it. I can totally relate to you. I had God in my life, so, you know, that kind of helped me transition in some of that pain and those questions. Like, what about God? Like, I know you're young. Do you believe in God at that time? What was your relationship with him?
At that time, I didn't really know God. I went to church a few times with a friend. My mom was working a lot. She was basically a single mom with 3 girls. And her and my little sister's dad divorced, I think, when I was in 3rd grade, maybe around that time. So she was working a lot, and so we didn't really ever go to church. That they don't really, where we're from, they don't really know God. Some family members do, and I'm really proud of them. But at that point, we didn't really go to church. We didn't know God. We didn't feel God in the presence.
Right.
That's speaking for me. I don't know if my mom did or not. I won't speak for her about it. But I know it was a big toll on her, and then I could also feel it. And so, but God was there. I know, looking back, he was there. Because at that time, my mom was also seeing a guy, and I allowed it. So I was like, okay, God, get here. So it was definitely an eye-opener. And when I was still talking to my biological dad, I would feel guilty. Because part of me was like, this is going to be my dad someday. My mom's significant other.
Right.
But I was like, well, what if this works? works, despite all the things that I see, and not wanting to see the red flags of him. And God was like, open your eyes, because this is not it.
Yeah, yeah.
And shortly after, like 5th grade, he left again. So.
Yeah, and that's very difficult to not have consistency in a relationship. As a child, and even as an adult, it really doesn't get any better.
Yes.
We still need consistency in the people that we hold valuable in our lives. And I know that's difficult. One minute he's here, and you keep letting him back in with the hopes that this time is going to be different. Did you ever get to a point where you just accepted, this is who my dad is?
Like my biological dad?
Yes,
Or,
yes.
No.
Yeah.
I was still searching. I was like, okay, is he going to stay? Is like he's here? At first I was like, he's here to stay. And then there was an instance that happened. We went to a cook-off, and I only went because my step siblings went. And I thought it would be a really fun time. Well, the generator went out and they left, besides my biological dad and his friends and their daughter. And I felt bad. I was like, I don't want to leave her by herself. Well, long story short, he disappeared. He disappeared, and we're like, where did he go? And they said, oh, Walmart. Well, he came back wasted, drunk. Yeah. And I was asleep by this time. Well, he during that part that when he came back, he was drunk, and he tried to take me into the car with him and just go.
Yeah, yeah.
That was told to me whenever I was awake, when I woke up the next day, by his friends.
Yeah. Thank God they protected you. They're like, no, you can't.
Yes. And there was a part of me that was like, this could work, but then there was a part of me that was like, this is not what I want, really. Even if I was fighting with my mom about it. But like, I trust easy, and that's one of the points where I was like, no, I cannot put all my eggs in this basket.
Yeah.
And that part really made me mad, because when we came back home, me and my little sibling were asleep on the couch, and he came. When I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
Yeah,
There's no waking me up. Well, he came back arguing with my stepmom, and he was just saying, like, you've never gotten your kids taken away from you. Well, she was in my corner, and she was like, she's right here. She's been fighting for you, and the least thing you can do is fight for her, because when you walk out that door, you're never gonna see her again.
Yeah.
And he just walked out, and I think that's whenever I was just like, I was never good enough. I knew I wasn't good enough at part of the time, like a portion of the time, but that's when it really sunk in. I was like, okay, like, you couldn't just sit here and just be there, which I dislike that it is a big part of me, and like, he is a part of me, but he is not me. He's not.
That's right.
Anything. He has nothing to do with the success in my life, anything.
Yeah.
That is my mom and my dad, who I call dad now.
Yeah.
And I even changed my last name to my stepdad's.
Yeah.
Once I turned 18, I was like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. Did you ever get to a point when you realized that your biological dad's issues were not about you? Like, he had those issues before you were even born.
Yes, he did, because his older daughter even has her mom's maiden name. Yes, I knew after the fact. It's like, this is not about me.
Right.
Like,
right.
you have a history of doing this. I think he still has a relationship with my brother. Last time I heard, he has a relationship with him, but I knew it wasn't just me. I just know that he's just not it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Saying the least. He's just not made for this.
Yeah.
Obvious.
He was never, He was never going to be that dad that you needed him to be.
Even though he liked to talk about he was. And I was like, well, at the time I was there, I was like, but you're not. You're 9 years late. So,
yeah.
And you didn't even make it a year.
Yeah, yeah. So. The imagination, boy, you know, sometimes people, they can have an idea and a belief in their mind and they really believe they're living up to it, but they don't have a sense of reality.
Yes.
And I think whenever reality hits some people, that's when they turn to the bottle or drugs or some other vice because their reality hurts so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He I don't know if he still does it again. I haven't talked to him in years. He was big on drugs for the longest that I know. Only reason why my mom thought it was okay to have him back in my life is because he was clean. Right.
Because my mom never messed with that. And any of our dads was like, nope, we're done. We're gone. Like, we're done. Bye. I don't even care if me and my girls are on the street, but we're not going to be anywhere near this. So, toxicity. So.
Yeah, I 100% get it. So how has your relationship with God changed from, you know, when you were younger? Like, where is God now in your life?
I will say the biggest change is whenever he put my dad now in my life.
Yeah.
We moved to Alvin 6th grade year, and he's from a Christian-oriented family. They went to church every Sunday, unless they were like off with games. So that really opened my eyes to God and my mom. And so I think watching them go through it really put him into my heart. And then going to college, because I was always gone with softball all the time, so I didn't really ever go to church, but I know God's not just church. It's you. It's how you carry yourself. And I've always told people about God, even my classmates. I was like, that's God.
Yeah.
But last couple of years, it's really opened my eyes, and our bond has gotten stronger. And I'm in a small group, and that moment he put him in my life changed all our lives for the better.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. And you know, sometimes we don't even realize that we've been praying to God the whole time, and that he was answering those prayers, because there's a longing, because I'm just listening to you and it sounds like there was a longing in your heart to have a dad.
Yeah.
And God knew. And for him to just provide a man that was going to be consistent with him and with y'all, you know, that's what God does. He answers those prayers, and we never know what it's going to look like, you know?
Yes.
And we never know when it's going to happen. But when it does, it's one of the most beautiful things that you could ever ask or even imagine, because God gets it right. He always gets it right. And even if there are mistakes made by our parents, God is so good that he will rectify those things.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity just to really release your dad and just forgive him for not being able to be the dad you thought you needed to be?
I'm still kind of like, I did once I changed my last name. Like, he kind of made it a really big struggle. I had to wait till I was 18. Because he just kept not doing what he was supposed to do. And so I was just really full of anger.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? You don't want anything to do with me. Why are you making this more of an obstacle than it needs to be? Like, just sign the papers."
Right.
Because I really wanted it to be just done. Like, I thought once I got the last name away from me, then I can be free and just not think of it. Not think of the side effects at a young age.
Right. Yeah.
But over the years, I have been just really not thinking about it until someone like asks about our family situation.
Yeah.
I don't really talk about it. Even my sisters, we kind of like beat around the bush. But I have been finding myself still trying to forgive him. It's kind of hard, but then I think in the back of my head, I forgive him because I have a new dad.
Yeah,
I have the dad that I've always wanted. The dad that always was supposed to be. It just took a little longer for us to have the dad that we needed.
Yeah.
And the person to love my mom how she deserved to be loved.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, that's whenever I forgave that. I was like, thank you for not being here because I
have the best dad now. Yes.
So, and then I always go to him like, thank you to him because he, as a single man, got 3 girls.
Yes.
So
that's a brave man. Okay, we shouting you out today. Okay. Lots of toilet paper. Okay. And he stepped in, and you can see God in that because God put it in his heart, and he showed him what he was going to be prepared, what he was preparing him for.
Yes.
So when he met your mom, he just, God told him, and this is what these girls need. And you're equipped. You're equipped to do that. And he did that for your dad. And that's our God. Yes. He does that for us. And that is, it's so beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And I love a good comeback story where you can watch God really move and change someone's life.
Yes. Yeah. And it even brings me to tears thinking about it sometimes. I'm just like, dang. Like, I don't even know where I would be without that man or God. But I'm the most thankful for it. Yeah. Because it's not fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just trying to figure out your identity and where you fit into this person's life, and
if I'm good enough. Like that was one of the things I struggled was when I asked him. It was really early on in their relationship. I sat in my mom's bed and I was like, I have something to tell you as a 10-year-old. And I was like, can you be my dad? Everyone else have given up on me. Can you be my dad? And if you saw me then, and you would be like, is this girl really asking that? Because she was just like, no guys at all. Not even friends, family members, no. Because I was so mad. I was just like, it's not my mom's fault, and it's not anyone's fault besides theirs. I just felt like my little sister has her dad. He might not be the greatest person in the world. My older at that time, I was like, my older sister has her dad. I'm just like, where? Like, is this is gonna be my dad? Right. And now, all of us have our names changed to him. Yeah. And we're just like, this is our dad. This is who our dad is. The one who's done the most. The one who showed us to God. The one who loves us for who we are, and just rode the roller coaster with us. Yeah. And so I couldn't be more thankful for him and God and my mom, because without my mom's strength and my mom's will, who knows where we would be and who. Yeah.
And that's the level of redemption. And it's not by chance that we're doing it, this weekend, but God also redeemed your mom. Yes. In that process. And so it's so much healing, and it's so beautiful when you look at how God shows up, and he knows exactly what we need, and when to bring it into our lives. And so that is, it's just a beautiful story. So talk to us about some laughter. You got a new dad, so tell us about some laughter here.
So my dad is very, very smart. Okay. And so when we would go on like softball trips, anytime trips, like he would just bust out rapping. And he would be good raps too. And I'm just like,
he got skills? Okay.
Yes. And not even like bad rap. It was just like funny, hilarious type of rapping. And then like we would also like even backtracking to softball, When we'd go to state championships during select softball, we would listen to Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
And we would just be doing it, dancing, and like we had the best of times.
Yeah.
And we would laugh, and like he calls us the Kaitlyn Crippler when he does the horse bite. And it's just we have so much fun. And he is the best. And we just laugh, and it's just
That's
those are
the
best
laughter.
memories.
That's the beauty in laughing, because you can laugh at the times where it didn't work out. You can let it go because look at how great God is. Look at my dad now. And now you have someone to give those Father's Day cards to, okay? Yes. You have someone to take those family pictures with, right? You have someone like, I want you to meet someone, Dad. You got someone to screen, yes. Dad, I know he's going to screen him. I know you are, okay?
Yes.
And that's beautiful. You know, you have your hero.
Yes.
And that matters so much to God. And I'm glad that it matters to you and your mom. And so this is just, that's the word that I can describe it. It's so beautiful because it's so redemptive. Now, I want to ask you, because you're not the first to go through this, and you're not going to be the last.
Yes.
What advice do you have for a young girl that is struggling with identity? Like, I don't know my dad. He's not here to protect me.
I would say that if an adult authority is still in your life, even it's a grandparent, a mom, a sister, really cling on to them and look for God. Seek God through them and for yourself, because those are the people who are going to be in your corner no matter what. No matter if someone's missing from your life, your people who are there through everything with you are the only people that matter. And as long as God is there with you and seeking and pushing you through the paths and giving you the strength to go through every day, that's all that matters.
Amen. That is so beautiful. God, yeah. Just appreciate the people you have in your life now. And God is always going to bring more. All right.
Yes.
So the lack that you have today does not mean it's going to be the lack that you're going to have tomorrow. Right. You could be missing a dad today, and then tomorrow you have a wonderful father. And then you get uncles that are great too, that come with the package. You just, you can get a whole family that's great. So don't ever think that the lack you have today is going to be the lack that you have tomorrow. God is a God of abundance. Okay. Yes. And so Kaitlyn, thank you so much for coming on. And people may want to reach out to you.
That's perfectly fine.
Yes. How can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Kaitlyn.Kincaid. It's Kitlyn, and then Kincaid is Kincaide.
Yes, awesome. And so remember to subscribe, like, and share this episode out, because I know it's going to bless so many people. All right. And this concludes this episode of Lost, Light, and Laughter. And remember, when you're laughing, you're healing. Kaitlyn, thank you so much again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye, y'all.
I'ma show love, everybody, show love one time. Feel me strong enough to fight my battles. I know he'll never give me more than I can handle. My Lord, my King, the one that I do love. He sends his love down from up above. My faith, my strength, and all that I believe in. My Father, the Holy One, who I call friend.